Well, thought I'd show you the dogs again. That's Red. And that's Girly. She is much older, I'm sure, than Red, even though she seems to be quite active at the moment. That being said, I think she's getting better. I mean, it's obvious that the things we have done has improved her quality of life. I would imagine she had a pretty significant fever, my guess would be, when we first met her. And that has went away because she was so lethargic when we first met her. But now she's a little bit more active. The thing is she's just, you can tell she's old. When she lays down for a while and then stands up, she limps like an old person. So, I mean, me and Carolyn do the same thing. So, I mean, she can walk it off and get back to normal. And Red likes to play a lot. And Girly kind of ignores the playing behavior, although you can tell that Girly wants to play. There has been a couple times, though, that she has chose to play, and they go around the building. They kind of chase each other around the building. Just a couple times. But normally, Girly just doesn't participate in that play. So, but that's okay. I mean, they're both very well behaved. Different personalities, but very well behaved. And for two dogs who love each other so much, it's amazing how much they hate each other. Oh, my guess is they've been so neglected for so long, and they starved so much that they couldn't afford to share food anymore. So if there's food available, they get a little growly at each other, even if they both have food in front of them. One of them get a bone out of the bag. You know, we don't have a lot of storage area, so we put the bag of bones on the floor, and Girly likes to get into them, and then all of a sudden they start growling at each other. If one of them is on the bed and the other one comes up, which Girly struggles to get up, sometimes we have to help her up. If she doesn't get a running start, she can't get on it. So, but if one of them gets on the bed, the other one will growl. They don't want to share the bed either. I mean, if I'm off the bed, they'll share. But as soon as I get on the bed, that means there's four bodies on the bed now. They don't want to share. So one of them will eventually get down. Girly is a little bit more of a bed hog. She doesn't seem to mind being touched, so if my foot hits her or something, she doesn't seem to care. Whereas Girly is very sensitive to that. I'm sorry, Red is very sensitive to that. And if you touch her, she's moving. So she's gotten actually pretty good about sleeping on the bed. She just gets in between us now and is really pretty much out of the way. The only downside to that is she has nightmares. Both of them do. I mean, terrible nightmares. And I mean, I've Googled it several times. They may never get over the nightmares of being, abandoned, starving, all the wildlife after them, fighting off the raccoons and the possums and the bobcats over whatever food they did find, humans chasing them off, maybe even shooting pellet guns at them. I can't remember which one. I think it was Girly we thought may have had a pellet shot. So there were just a lot of stressors. So, but I will say, they sure do adore each other, even though they act like they don't. The one thing that always comes to mind is Red. She was the first one to come up here and get fed. Come up here for several months. She'd stay the entire day and then leave. She would stay away for an entire day and then come back the next day. Well, she was down there with Girly. She just would not abandon Girly. And once Girly got loose from whatever entrapment she was in, they both came up here, and within a few days, they pretty much stayed. You know, they would leave. You know, we weren't letting them in the house at first because Skitty was still alive. They would leave, go bark at the other dogs down the hill and come back, but pretty much they were here. And so I just found that really interesting, how Red would not abandon Girly. And the thing is I don't know if she would have ever abandoned her. How long it would have taken. I mean, Girly would have eventually died. She wasn't eating. That means Red was coming up here getting fed. And sometimes we think that Red may have been taking food down to her. because occasionally Red would pick up whatever bowl, you know, with plastic cottage cheese bowl or whatever that we had food in, and carry it off, and we just assumed she was eating it. But now we're kind of thinking, I wonder if she was taking that down there. Now, the way they don't share food and growl each other, you know, that kind of leads me to believe she probably didn't. But on the other hand, most of the time when the food was being carried off, Red had already stopped eating. She was full. So when she was doing that, when we were observing it, of course now we're just theorizing, but when we were observing it, we just figured she was carrying it off. That way she had food for later. So, I don't know. It's all theories. And I feel, I don't know what the word is. I feel something that I hate to have to go through that experience. And I've told you this before, but for those who may not have heard, what had happened is their owner got cancer. And somebody promised to take care of him after he died. Well, he took care of him for a while, and then he sold some of the man's equipment, farm equipment, to feed the dogs. And apparently somebody in town got upset about that and told him not to do that, or, you know, I don't know. I mean, I just don't even understand the politics behind it all. So the man stopped feeding the dogs. Well, another guy said, oh, I'll feed the dogs. But he only lives here part-time. So half the time he lives in Washington State, and half the time he's here. I don't even know if it's half the time. I don't know how often he comes down here. I've only seen him a couple times. 3 that I'm certain of. In the 4 years we've been here. No, I'm sorry, the 6 years we've been, 5 or 6 years we've been here. So, not very often that I'm aware of. So I didn't understand how he thought he was going to feed them when he wasn't even here. It just seemed like, okay, that's not a good idea. But he did give us all the food that he had so we could take care of him, which I thought was great. I mean, we got a lot of food now. We were buying food quite often, but we haven't bought food since he brought it up. And those bones. So, well, what else is going on? There's not much going on. I've been telling you, I've been writing a book, and although the system, the AI system that I've been using is still broke. I told you I broke it, and that the system wasn't going to be repaired until February. And so we can't work on I can't work on the book until February. But I guess the programmers have put enough patches in place to allow me to continue documenting things I want to document, even though the AI can't actually formulate that into book. So a lot, you know, that information is being saved, and you know, there's a lot of analysis that goes into it also. So the AI will analyze statements, find sources, and then all that information is also saved, so we can put it into the book. You know, my daughter suggested that writing a book using AI is kind of like cheating, because she has a master's degree in English, so she feels like that it's taken away her job. You know, she put all that work into it. And the next time I talk to her, and because I've thought about this, I understand her aggravation, but AI is inevitable. The internet was inevitable. There was just no way to get around it. And I'm sure the people that had to go to the library and research things to write a book were aggravated that they had to go to the library and research things to write a book, so future generations could simply get on Google and research a book. I'm sure every generation is aggravated at the next generation. So I try to look at it a little bit more objectively, I hope, I think. And so I would like to talk to her about it because, for example, lawnmower repair. In the old days, lawnmower repair was something that was handed down from one generation to the next. You know, maybe a son would learn from the father, or there was a technical school you had to go to. But now, really, all you got to do is jump on the computer, even before AI, and ask a question, you know, it starts and dies. What could be the possible causes? And then it would, you know, even the computer will tell you what the possible causes could be, the internet. So that made it easier for anybody to become a lawnmower mechanic. That being said, there's a lot of bad lawnmower mechanics out there because they don't know how to use Google, but it did make it easier. YouTube videos makes lawnmower repair so much easier. So I look at it as a positive that it opens up career opportunities for people. I mean, the way I see it, I can't afford an editor, which would be my daughter. She could edit the book, but I can't afford that. I would love to be able to pay her some money to edit it, but she'd have to quit her job and become an editor. And so there's a huge financial risk for her, a huge financial risk for me. So it doesn't make sense. If you got money, you can write a book. And if you have a degree, you can write a book. But everybody else can't write a book. So AI comes around and says, hey, everybody can write a book now. Just like everybody can be a lawnmower mechanic. It opens up the world a lot to the possibilities that somebody might have something to say that could actually change the world that has never been thought of before. So I don't see it as a complete downside. Now I know, you know, last time I talked about AI, my YouTube channel just went insane, and they're still going insane. But I just don't care. I mean, I'm just tired of this channel's. Not everybody, because that was one of the complaints. Somebody said I was talking about, I said everybody in a video. That video was specifically targeting the people who messaged me or commented, criticizing my morals. I thought I made that clear at the beginning of the video that I was targeting those who criticized me. So when I said everybody, in my mind, I was talking about everybody that commented. Not everybody. But anyway, I forget where I was at, but the AI, I just feel like is a better system to help everybody get their ideas out. So, anyway, I guess that's all I got to say today. I've talked about the dogs and my book. So if you'll click this up next box, it'll take you to a video over my other channel. Really appreciate it if you go check it out. So if I can inspire you to think outside the box so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.